I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review, and I want to thank all of our panelists and speakers for participating in this quarterly mini jam. These events have been wildly successful for us, helping to drive over 1 million subscribers to our YouTube channel. And of course, we are continuing to build the always-on community site at insidejam.com, where you can connect with experts like you'll see today, along with colleagues and peers, and continue the conversation around enterprise technology. If you haven't already joined insidejam.com, please do. And if you have, please invite a colleague to join as well. Thank you very much for being here, and enjoy this event.
Solutions Review presents the Inside Jam Expert Keynote.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this session called Thriving in Ambiguity, Human Readiness for an AI Future. My name is Paula Caligiuri. I'm the co-founder and president of Skillify, and also a professor over at Northeastern University in Boston. It's just such an honor to be with you talking about the importance of soft skills. I've worked with Inside Jam and Solutions Review to co-author the tech report called Soft Skills to Future-Proof Tech Careers. And I'll be talking about that periodically. And certainly you have an opportunity to download that report for a little more information. So let's go ahead and get started. My friends, we all know that the world of work is changing, and it's changing fast. If you've had your career for any longer than a few years, you know that what you're looking forward to or looking ahead to is going to be more complex, more ambiguous, more diverse, more volatile, more uncertain. We are looking at a time when careers are changing very fast, in part due to AI. Part of our study found that most tech leaders who responded to our survey saw this. Nearly 90% of them said, yes, in fact, AI will be disrupting their roles. And a lot of these were quite senior leaders. What was interesting about this is that most believe that the change was down the road, 3 years, 5 years from now, when in fact, a lot of the new tech reports that are coming out are saying no, that the disruption is happening much, much sooner. PwC did a study saying that any of the roles, this was a 2025 study, their AI barometer, they said, look, if you're in a position that has any amount of AI exposure, those are accelerating in terms of how much they're changing. 66% faster than regular roles. This is a tremendous speed of change. And we also know that AI is fully rewiring and rewriting jobs. It's raising the bar on human-centric skills like never before. We know that pretty much anything that humans did that could be automated will be automated, and it will be automated much faster than probably many of us believed. But what's really surprising and very important to also know is that any roles that are AI augmented, where there is some space for humans to be creative or innovative or empathetic or novel or whatever the human-centric skill might be, whenever AI was augmenting a career, those careers are accelerating and becoming more valuable. So really, this idea of human-centric skills with this AI augmentation is exactly where you want to be with your career. And in fact, in the study that we did through Inside Jam, saw this as well. Human readiness was critical. 94%, almost all of them saw that those human-centric skills are going to be more critical now than ever before. But here's the challenge. They also saw that we're currently lacking time, coaching, resources, tools, feedback in order to build those human-centric skills. My friends, that is the gap that we need to close. That's the gap we're talking about today. So we get it that AI is changing jobs, but we're also kind of signing up for this idea that if you have an AI augmented job, not one that's going to get automated, but augmented, those human-centric skills that you possess are going to make you more valuable than ever before. This is the gap. So what are those skills? What we did in our study was to try to understand those critical soft skills, those durable soft skills, those capabilities that are needed for the future, the ones that these senior leaders in tech thought were going to be necessary more than ever before. The list is on this screen. I'll just read them through. These would be things like tolerance of ambiguity, that ability to kind of be in this situation of uncertainty comfortably. Curiosity, the idea that we're never going to be certain about as much. And the only way that we can manage through the complexity is by being able to ask the right questions. Resilience, because in times of volatility, in times of complexity, things are going to go wrong. And we need to be resilient through that. Relationship building, it's going to be harder and harder to be working in a silo or working independently. Our world is becoming far too complex for that. Perspective taking, again, similar to relationship building, we have to be able to see the same issue through multiple lenses, multiple business units, multiple, stakeholders, whatever that might be. And humility. This one actually, surprisingly, bigger than most people realize, that ability to say that, again, now more than ever before, we might not have all the answers alone, regardless of how expert we are in our chosen field. So these were the six that were so critical, those six key capabilities. What's really nice about them is that they're durable. I'm a university professor. I say this to my MBA students. If we can have you build out these skills and have these skills, these will be with you for your entire career. These aren't like tech skills that might have nowadays an 18-month half-life or a 2.5-year half-life. These will be with you forever. So really worth working on, really worth accelerating. So I'm just going to share a few of those. The tolerance of ambiguity, the one that I mentioned, what we found with tolerance of ambiguity was really interesting. Roughly 75% of our leaders in tech said, yes, this one is absolutely critical. But many of them also said, you know what? There's a lot of decision paralysis out there, and we're having a really rough time making decisions under situations of uncertainty. So we're going to need to get better. We're going to need to get better in this situation of ambiguity to be able to make decisions with confidence, even without complete information. And that's different from sort of years past or even decades past when we could kind of get to some certainty before moving forward. So that's a really important one. Curiosity also came out as being one of actually the most important ones. This one had, I think, a 93% endorsement of senior executives in tech saying, you know what? Yep, it's either extremely important or very important for the future. Curiosity was that engine that helped people kind of move outside of their own kind of sphere of understanding in order to sort of build more complex answers for the future. This helps people get more creative, more innovative, more solutions oriented. The downside of this one is that many, many people in the survey describe themselves as saying, you know what, we don't even have time for curiosity. We don't have time to look at things that are new or novel. And that's an important issue. It used to be that we could train our way to skills. So either through university education, executive education, courses, online courses, lunch and learns, your training and development teams. What's happening now is that curiosity has to happen more in the moment, where we have to be able to sort of push the boundaries of what we know to be true. and actually become lifelong learners. That idea that we're going to have this base set of technical skills from which we can draw in order to answer questions, that's going away. What's taking its place is that ability to ask the right questions in that kind of AI-augmented reality. It's why prompt engineers are going to do really well. They can ask the right questions. So curiosity, probably one of the biggest ones. Also up there, resilience. A little over 90% of our leaders in tech said, yes, in fact, we need to get better at bouncing back, because this is part of the reality of the future. But it was an alarming percentage of individuals saying that they were having a very hard time reframing after setbacks or kind of recovering after that. So maybe not the best at building out that resilience, but it's a skill that can be learned. Every one of these that I'm describing have strategies behind them, have these micro behaviors in order to get better at this particular capability. So the skill is, of course, recovering quickly, and we can get better at that. The last one, because I'm not going to go through all of them, the last one I do want to mention, though, is relationship building. About 85% of these leaders in tech said, yes, in fact, we need people out there who can break through the silos, build trust quickly, collaborate effectively, because it's through kind of the ability to leverage each other's knowledge bases that we'll be able to handle the complexity of the future and the uncertainty of the future. So this too has become really important, but many people, struggle with that one. Also, what we found in the study was that it was kind of interesting. Well, 85% were like, yep, this is going to be a really critical capability for the future. Quite a few of them said, yeah, but I'd rather work alone, and I don't really have time to maintain these great professional relationships or my network. So this is going to be one that we'll need to really work on again. Not hard to do. All of these capabilities can be built through some changes in behaviors. It's all possible. So now I just want to end with the now what. This is an important issue, right? So we have these capabilities that are needed. We know that AI, anything AI can automate, it is gone for the most part, or will be gone soon. But what's remaining will be very much roles that have a heavy human-centric component. The AI part will be automated, but there's going to be that need for humans who can be creative and innovative and empathetic and can go into a new context and respond to it as needed. So let's just kind of at the high level, really in a very basic sense, what can we do individually? What we know is that you, as a professional in tech, will need to be able to adapt, be more open to what else could be possible, not rely solely on your own brain power, and become a lifelong learner. There are lots of resources out there. Skillify offers a free resource called My Guide to build out these competencies, those 6 capabilities. You are certainly welcome to reach out to me to gain access to that tool. Again, it's free, it's available, and it's valuable. Some kind of micro examples of things you could do. Go on a 15-minute curiosity break. Like, give yourself 15 minutes just to explore a topic that is of interest. It's like building that muscle around curiosity. You could ask 2 or more questions in any given conversation just to try to, again, build out that curiosity muscle. Those are really good for building curiosity. Tolerating ambiguity, you can practice some good enough decisions. So a lot of our leaders in our study had said, you know what, we have a lot of analysis paralysis. There's too many options. So actually getting comfortable with making a decision, and sometimes without exploring every possible option, because there might just be too many. So kind of those good enough decisions. And then sort of that idea of that humility that was relationship building, asking for feedback from others, asking for advice instead of feedback. That sometimes is a bit more comfortable. Recognizing the limits of your own knowledge and where someone else has more than you do. Those are skills. Those are practiced acts. Learning how to ask for help. It's amazing how many of us get to a point in our careers where, because we've reached sort of a high level, it feels a little awkward to ask for advice or to ask for feedback or ask for assistance. That's going to need to change in the future because, again, the complexity will be too high for any one person to have all the answers to some of these questions. So these were just some examples of really good practices for you personally within your career. For those of you who are in leadership roles, my friends, you're a multiplier. Your ability to get your team built with these capabilities, kind of advancing on these capabilities, gaining more of these soft skills, will make your team more successful. So think about the types of things you could do as a leader. One would be to promote them each on their own learning journeys. Again, happy to talk to you in a separate conversation about how you could do that. But more important, modeling what this means. It's okay to just say, I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone? And I know in some cultures that's really uncomfortable. And I know in some cultures that might make you appear more leader-like. There's better ways to do it in a culturally appropriate way. But that idea that you model the idea of being knowledgeable up to a point, but know when your knowledge stops and when it's the right time as a leader to ask some questions. Making it comfortable to say, you know what, we're in a situation of ambiguity. Some of our answers might not be exactly right. We might need to revise a bit. Certainly in tech, you guys know how to do this better than most, but making ambiguity safe for your team, that will help. The other idea is pulling in perspectives and lenses, views of people that are very different from you and your lens or your team's lens, so that they're seeing that it's okay to bring in other ideas in order to make the situation or the project better than before. That's a really powerful way to model leadership behavior. I've seen this with so many of our clients where it's usually after something goes quite wrong, we usually get some calls saying, hey, you know what, I think we had a little problem here of, usually it's perspective taking or humility or something where groups weren't speaking to each other that needed to be, or units weren't communicating, or cultures weren't integrating where they really needed to. And we have to kind of work on some team level ways to help, frankly, solve those problems together. But the ways of doing that are unique in this very challenging and very different environment. So again, definitely worth exploring as leaders. And where I want to end this is really for those of you who are in senior leadership roles, who have influence over your organizations as a whole, is think about that ability to upskill individuals, ready those teams as a way for your organization to thrive, a way for your organization to be more competitive, to be wealth creating. These are those human-centric soft skills, that ability to thrive in ambiguity will enable your organization to succeed. So I very much am excited to interact with any leaders who want to take this a little more seriously. One is just measure it. Like, figure out what is your bench strength within those groups of employees who are the most exposed to AI roles. What are their capabilities on those six key durable soft skills? Do you even have that inventory? We've had a lot of organizations have us do this with their top 200. We've been asked to do this for like slices within their organization of groups that they think are the most exposed to sort of the complexity of what's coming. So there's different ways to do it, but certainly valuable is know your bench, know who's capable and who's not of really leading within this challenging situation. And then develop it. There's lots of tools out there. The one that we offer is My Guide. And what it does is it gamifies the acquisition of those durable soft skills, those durable human-centric capabilities, so that everyone can build up in order to bring those to their roles that they're in. I would strongly recommend this. Again, we have a free version of it if you're resource limited, but definitely very, very valuable. And then link it to outcomes. Leaders respond to what is measured. If a key performance indicator is making sure that their team is building out those 6 key capabilities, they will make sure their team builds out those 6 key capabilities. So trying to embed the talent management system to support that skill acquisition is really important. Metrics matter, and I certainly think this group would agree with that. So with that, my friends, there are things we can be doing at the individual level for our own careers. For those of you who are leaders of teams, there's things you can be doing for your team. And for those of you who are more senior in your organizations, there are some things you can be doing at the organizational level to build out these capabilities. We know for certain that this matters. We know for certain that for those in AI-exposed jobs, the ability to have those human-centric skills, those 6 durable capabilities, will enable you to have the capacity to thrive in ambiguity. And we're looking at a future that's going to be tremendously ambiguous. So I'm excited for this journey. I know many, many things are possible. I'm excited for what AI will free up for humans to be doing with their own careers, and also the skills that they'll be building as a result from that need. So I'm optimistic for the future. I hope you hear that in my voice, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with you. If you want, there's a QR code if you'd like to read the results of that study that was done this year about those 6 human capabilities and some of the challenges we have in building those. You're certainly welcome to request it. We'll send it over to you or contact me directly or contact the company. I guess we have up on the email to talk about it a little bit more. And with that, I thank you.
For video highlights, replays, and more, visit insightjam.com.